Let us push on to our deserter. This week we're going to talk about. So again, we're going through the Wallabies team, and we're going to talk about Wallabies centre combos. We were just talking up the high praise of Len Ikitau. So Harry, do you want to go? What format do you want to do? Do you want to go through the incumbents, kind of categorize the groups of centre pairings?
Yeah, look, I think the incumbents are easy, right? Like, I think everyone would agree it's Karevi and Ikitau. And if they're fit, they're our 12 and 13, and we don't really have to worry. It's just done, and it's that easy. I think the question becomes, if one of those guys go down, where to next? And that's where the debate starts. I think we've got listed for the up-and-coming players, or the players that are, I guess, probably pushing from there. I would think it's probably Faghetti, and you could go either way on the other centre, but I'm going to say Parisi, given he's kind of back half of the season. For the Smokies, or the next tier down, I had Hunter Paisami and Fluke. And then the other names that, may emerge that are probably coming from a way back. Hamish Stewart's probably the first one. Then I think the likes of the Brumbies duo, Ollie Satsford, Tamati Tour, have been good. Isaac Henry's had his moments when fit. And David Felawai is their new up-and-coming centre. Surely too far for all of the outside picks, do you think?
The Romanian Rumbler. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, when you talk about the Wallabies backline, there's no position where you can't leave Reece Hodge out of, though, in the discussion. That's just how it works. But, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Karevi and Ikitau. Hunter Paisami, sadly, he's been injured a lot of the season. We haven't seen his form, but he would usually be my third choice up there. Just he's had some hell of a games in the gold jersey.
I agree.
But a player, I guess, for me, who I'd rank third at the moment would be Isaiah Parisi. He started off the season, slowly coming back from injury, but in the second half of this season, he's probably been the Tars' best player. In the last few games, he's been playing some outstanding footy. It's just the problem is, I guess, Ikitau and Parisi are so clearly just 13s. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you can throw them into 12, whereas Karevi is a 12 or a 13, but the 12, and Paisami can play 12 and 13. So I think really Ikitau, Parisi are 13s, Karevi is a 12 or 13, but 12 probably, and then Paisami is your backup. So I would still pick Paisami over Faghetti. That's just to A, show I'm not a biased Waratahs fan, and B, I've always just loved Hunter the Hitman, so it's got a soft spot in my heart. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm not sure we'll see any bolters in this position, but for mine, the only thing that really matters is we need to get Samuel Karevi in a gold jersey this year.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. And obviously, this brings me to my next point, which is the Eddie Jones Barbarian experiment. I think he just keeps putting his hand up as the Barbarians coach because it gives him an opportunity to draw international players together to give them game time. And there has been the latest announcement that he is again going to coach the Barbarians through a tour of England where they're going to take on some of the premiership sides. I think they've got a handful of games. I'm trying to work out when it is.
I hadn't seen that, but it'd be great if it's like Eddie's like, yeah, no, I'm coaching the Barbarians, and they're like, Eddie, why are 14 out of 15 players Wallabies players in your Barbarians side? No reason. No reason. That's just who was available. It's
Well, he's basically already hinted at the fact that it's going to be Wallabies heavy. So, whenever it is, there's no doubt that there's a hidden agenda. Not a hidden, probably a pretty obvious, honest agenda there that Eddie Jones, yes, he wants to coach the Barbarians, but he wants to test out some combinations as well. So hopefully we do see some of those outside players like a Fluke or maybe an Isaac Henry or even like a Parisi or Hunter Paisami to get their opportunity to try and put their name back up in the forefront of his mind.
And that's a huge benefit of getting the high profile of Eddie Jones back as your Wallabies coach, because he can do that, right? Like, I don't know if we'd be seeing Rennie being the Barbarians coach. You know what I mean? It probably would be Eddie, regardless of where he showed up, just in terms of he's probably the biggest profile coach in world rugby at the moment. So
I did get the details, sorry, as I just caught up then.
Excellent.
The Barbarians fixtures are happening during the World Cup.
Oh,
So it means that he's basically going to then pick a bunch of Wallabies players that aren't in the 33-man squad to just tour around England and play. So essentially, if any of the 33-man squad from the Wallabies get injured, they've got these playing players that are touring around, playing in a professional side and keeping fit, just to call straight over to the Wallabies. So I like it. I think you're going to see James O'Connor in there as well. There's going to be a few. Bernard Foley surely goes on tour with the Barbarians this time as well. It's
all
genius.
part of the master plan. All part of the master plan.
Love it.
I'm amazed that it's during the World Cup. That seems
Pretty weird.
but I like Eddie probably changed the dates. He goes, no, it's fine. They go, Eddie, that's during the World Cup. He goes, yeah, I know.
Yeah. No. Anyway, look, I didn't think that we'd have so much agreement here about the centres. I think probably the only question mark here is who's your backup. You only get to pick one. You got Karevi and Ikitau. I'm assuming we've all got what? Tell me your bench backs.
If you can only pick one, for me, I'm picking Hunter because he can play both 12-13.
Now, I want you to tell me your bench centres and outside backs. So let's say we're going a 5-3 split for the Wallabies. You've obviously got your reserve halfback. Who's your other two backs? You got Karevi and Ikitau starting. Who else do you put on there?
Reece Hodge is the ultimate 23 man, isn't he?
Yeah. Okay.
It's a get out of jail free. And then it's if you've got Reece Hodge, I don't know. Well, it depends. Is Batyr available? Is he starting? Where's Batyr at?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Sorry,
he'll be fine. I think the same. I've got Reece Hodge to cover the centres if needed, and Geordie Batyr, who can cover at a stretch outside centre, as we've seen him do when he was only 19 years old, carving up England. But that covers the whole back line, gives you a long boot to finish the game, give you some experience. I think it's a very good way to go, which means, despite the fact that we're having a discussion about Wallaby centres, we're probably only picking two in our match day 23.
Yeah, I mean, the only other things there are, depending on where Batyr is, on where Kellaway is and things like that, we could see James O'Connor and Reece Hodge on the bench. O'Connor, of course, 10 and 12 cover. Could see, I really hope that they don't use Kellaway or see him as a 13 capacity, but like the Rebels have, he's a winger or a fullback for mine, but it's possible. So yeah, I think we're very much in agreement. We don't have Nelson here to throw some rogue strategy out there and to just disagree with us for the sake of disagreement. So
Nelson just texted me. He said Fraser McWright as the reserve centre.
Okay, no, that does check out. But very good. All right. Well, look, that's another episode of the Draft Rugby Show. And we'll be back next week. Nelson, if he didn't win his fantasy matchup with Harry, will have fled the country, so might not return on the pod. We'll talk you through the semi-finals and look to the big dance, the final Super Rugby Pacific.
And good luck, mate. This time next week, you might have your name in another trophy.
No, mate. Come on, mate. That's not going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to overcome this 150 deficit, but I'm going to find a way.
All right, very good.